Do you think being a musician makes you think more about the past or more about the future?
I think that it's both, because I really very much carry the past with me, with my music and in general, but with all the musicians about, it's constantly giving me something to inspire me and to just something new around. So I like to do a bit of both, bring the past with me and give it a little fresh take.
Are there any moments in your past that you feel kind of spurred you on to like kind of pursue music and pursue like creativity in that way?
Yeah, I would say so. I think I started writing because of certain events in my life that I just thought it was best to express that in song. So that was the past events is definitely the motivator for me starting music. And if I get sad enough, I'll write a song.
What sort of effect did it have on the way you felt about those events? Did it kind of change the way you felt about them by expressing them in music?
Yeah, I think it does, because getting something out of you like that and writing it down or just getting it out in any sort of way gives you a new perspective. And even though if I go back to sing these songs again, it gives me, I start to think differently about them, and sometimes the songs kind of change meaning for me over time as I grow. But yeah, I think it's yeah.
Has that happened with this new single yet? Has that changed meaning for you at all?
No, I think this is very much the start of Ruby Gaines, and this song is very much the future for me, and it's exciting, and I'm still sort of living with it just now. All the songs I've written before, most of them, they already have their place, and I feel like Cardamom is still running with me just now.
So with the kind of new name and the new kind of persona in a certain way, what was it why did you make that decision? Why did you decide to kind of change your name, and how did that then affect what you were writing? Did it change your mindset at all?
Yeah, it felt like it was a natural progression. Megan Early to me is very much an outcome of just me in my bedroom with an acoustic guitar, and I've not done anything in maybe a couple of years, and it feels natural with the sound that I've started to develop, and I feel not as connected to the stuff I've released through as Megan Early now, and I want to give Ruby Gaines everything that I want as a performer, as a musician, and having that new branding I really feel is just natural for me. It feels right.
Are there aspects of yourself that you think are present in Ruby Gaines that weren't present in Megan Early with the music you're making now?
I think 100%. Ruby Gaines is just me turned up to 11, I feel. And there's still, obviously, I still feel a connection to stuff I've wrote in the past and to Megan Early, but Ruby really is just an amplified version of it all.
At what point did you kind of feel that you had a grasp, of the new sound and what you wanted the sound to be and how you wanted it to feel?
Yeah, so that came, it was a slow progress as I wasn't doing anything in music, so it felt like a natural progression in itself. And Ruby sort of kind of came into fruition maybe like a year ago, and even since then I'm still building on her, and I'm still wanting to learn from Megan, but I'm wanting to just kind of push that. So I think like maybe a year ago is when I thought that she's arrived.
So did this single come before or after that point, the one that's about to come out?
The single kind of came in just before I'd really kind of thought about birthing Ruby Gaines, that it very much felt really different from anything I did, and it didn't feel right to release it under anything I was doing before. I just feel like kind of evolved from that, and I think Cardamom was like basically the start of that new chapter for me.
And you wrote it like in the early hours in the morning as well?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I feel like I write a lot of my songs at night time, but this time I couldn't sleep, and it's just one of those kind of messing around, and then it just all of a sudden came to be, and I was really excited about it. It felt different, it felt new, but yeah, and I think that's probably why I put in I Like the Morning, because I was liking it at that point. Yeah.
So did you know as soon as you wrote that it was kind of going to be important for you, and that it was quite an important song?
It definitely felt like the start of something, and it was. I felt that with a few songs, like this. This feels like good. This feels like I want to do something with it, and that was like this feels like that song is the foundation of which I'm building on now.
Just to come back to as well with you, you said that you write a lot of your songs like in the early hours in the morning, kind of at night time.
Yeah.
What do you think it is about that time of the day that kind of spawns that creativity?
I think that at the end of the day, it's when you start to process all your thoughts, when you're sitting down and you're in your room or just like in your pants in your bed. This is when you start to think about all the things, and when you can't sleep, it's things from like 10 years ago or starting to haunt you again. And I feel like at that time it's a really good for me. It's a good time for me to start writing down all my thoughts, and then maybe through then I'll add a little melody to it.
When you're in the studio as well, and you're recording the song, are you trying to recapture the emotion of when you wrote it, or what are you trying to capture there?
I think in the studio it was much. I wanted it to be as kind of big as possible. I did have the idea of. I mean, the theme of the song is just quite passionate. I wanted to keep that, and I don't think I've lost any of that. I just think I've built on it, and it's now just this whole big thing that I didn't even think it could be, but the original feel of it is definitely still there.
You recorded it at Macharts as well? Is that right?
Yeah, in Galashiels.
So that's like a converted church?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's so good. I've always wanted to record in a church, and then all of a sudden I was doing it, and it felt really special. And mixed by Stephen, he's just like he's completely transformed this beautiful space into somewhere that's so appropriate, and so appropriate to like to make tunes in. It's just sounding amazing, and it's quite a powerful thing to sing in a church. So I really wanted the power in the song, and that really helped. It was beautiful.
Does that, like what you're saying about how that kind of fed into the song a wee bit in the recording of it, does that ever happen for writing as well? Like just where you are when you write a song, does that feed into it? Does that have any role to play?
Interesting. I've not really thought about that before, but I think it would, because I mean everything's a product of the environment, right? So it's yeah, I've not thought about it much before, but yeah, that's quite apparent. Yeah.
Just to round up as well, in the music that you create, in the single as well, what do you feel is more important to success, meaning or emotion? Sorry.
Well, you need to have some meaning to your emotion. So it's if you do lead with your emotion, you know your heart's always there. So I do feel like that is important, but meaning is also important as well. But I do very much lead with my emotions, and I do carry that through my music. So that is important to me. So I would say the emotional aspect, that to succeed off of that would be much more satisfying, I think.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you.